And enough of that for copyright purposes, but you know what time it is, right? It is time. It is time for the Military Press Wrestling Hour, hosted by a plethora of professionals of professional wrestling on vetsonmedia.com in conjunction with Vets on Sports. And so I want to say big thanks to JD and Adam, who run Vets on Media, then also Vets on Sports. I call Adam Radio Daddy A, and then James, he's some disclosed location. He's Radio Daddy B. But I guess for this show, these show purposes right here, JD is Radio Daddy C. So that's that. But anyway, this is Military Press Wrestling Hour. Silent J. And we have this wonderful duo over here rocking some great shirts tonight. How you guys doing?
Fantastic. Ready to go. Ready to go.
I am sniffing WrestleMania in Toronto right now with those two shirts.
Finally, they're colliding. We're ready to go.
Well, we got the WWE World, the WWF Heavyweight Champion, not World Heavyweight Champion, but the WWF Heavyweight Champion, and the Intercontinental Champion right there in the red room of sexiness, and then myself. I don't have a wrestling shirt on. I still cannot find my white CM Punk T-shirt, so I'm rocking Betty Page. So that's
a good one too.
That's all I got. So if I'm rubbing myself, I'm not really rubbing myself. I'm rubbing Betty Page. So with that being said, as I'm rubbing myself, thinking I'm rubbing, doing the Kamala. There you go. But now you do it. No, he has no legs, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yes.
You guys know that? Yeah, he succumbed to diabetes, and
yeah.
Kamala, Ugandan giant, is without legs. But what was his his name prior in Mid South? It's like Sweet Daddy, Sweet.
Yeah, it was a hell of a lot different than the Ugandan giant, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a funny backstory, and where they did those vignettes, it was in like Jerry Jarrett's yard or something like that with
Yeah. Did you ever hear the story of Andre the Giant taking a shot, or he punched Andre the Giant, pulled a gun out on him, I think. Jeez.
Yeah, I heard that they had an issue. I guess Andre wasn't up on his politeness with black wrestlers, and Kamala, I guess, pulled a gun out on Andre.
He made him respect him, that's for sure.
Yeah, you got to be. Here's the thing: if you're dealing with a guy, well, Andre was like 7'2", 500. I know they built him as like 7'5", but I don't think he was that big. So he's over 7 feet tall and close to 500 pounds. And if you're crazy enough to pull a gun out on that dude, I would respect you immediately.
Better shoot him in the knee if anything.
Yeah.
Knock him down to size.
Yeah. But with that being said, let's jump into Raw, which I didn't really catch too much of because I got sucked into the last episode of NXT TakeOver. And I watched that four-way between Charlotte and the Boss and those other two chicks.
Becky Lynch and somebody.
Yeah, I forgot the other one who did the nice belly. Oh, it's the belly to. Oh, jeez, her move. She did the belly to belly suplex, but it's not belly to belly. It's belly and then her name.
Bailey, that's what it is.
Yeah, belly to Bailey suplex off the ropes.
Oh.
That was a great match. Just jumping it, just NXT real quick because I'm a fan of Indies, and that's about the closest thing you'll get to Indies with WWE. Man, there's some really good wrestling there. That Owens versus Zayn match.
That was epic.
that was pretty damn good. I like that.
It's a different ending. I liked the ending.
Yeah,
All
just
those power bombs.
destroy him. Yeah, just destroy the dude. You win because he can't move. Shades of Rusev and Cena, but done better. So, but yeah, it's really good wrestling in NXT, and my girl was watching it last night, and it was like really just good wrestling, and I like that. And she was surprised because she was watching the Divas wrestle down there, and she was surprised. She goes, "Why don't they do that up on the main roster?" I like because they have
need
time.
to.
Yeah.
Just feel like they don't have, it's almost like when you go from college football to the NFL. They don't go. There's not as much there because you're there. What is there to prove? You've made it.
Yeah, you're not playing to get there anymore. You're playing to stay there.
Exactly. Even though when you get there, you should be setting goals to be, a 10-time champion and being a workhorse all the way through. But I guess that's not how it works out.
Yeah, or not be Adam Rose.
Yeah, exactly.
God, what a stupid.
Bust.
The bunny. Really? You're being overshadowed by a creepy Easter. Yeah, creeper. By a creepy Easter character.
Nonsense.
Now, if that was ECW, at least you know that Easter Bunny would be getting his ass handed to him, getting caned right now. Oh, that the days I lost.
Through a flaming table by the Dudleys.
You know how great that would be to watch the bunny go through a flaming table?
I would want to watch that.
I would love that. I would pay for that because his fur is going to catch fire. And
I was just about to say, we could have a real bad incident if he catches fire rolling around in the ring.
That crowd would be nuts.
Yeah, with that being said, let's get into, like, you saw, a lot of guys go through tables. They either had a shirt on or they're smooth shaven. Could you imagine if you just had a hairy bastard go through a table, like maybe Mick Foley with his shirt off, or like
Scott Hall,
or what was one dude? It was basically all you could see was like his
A-Train,
Albert,
Ensai, whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah, a guy like that, you watch him in Japan, and then you watch him in America, and it's like, how do you feel to be neutered?
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I'd like a flaming table just to see what happens to all that hair. You smell.
And when you watch him go up in flames.
Yeah, just damn, I should have shaved. But going into Raw, and again leading up to, that's like the theme of the next few weeks. Raw shaping WrestleMania. How did you guys think Raw this past week helped shape WrestleMania? 'Cause a big thing happened this week. Why don't you guys?
Taker Wyatt was big. I like that.
Yeah, Mike, what were your thoughts on that? Because we talked about that real quick.
It was pretty nuts, like how they had like the lightning bolt hit the chair and the flames, and how he accepted it. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and like I said, with a lot being done, without the Undertaker being there at all, so like how many in recent memory have, other than an injury where the guy's coming back type thing? I mean, here the guy's coming back, but I guess for like the first couple of weeks you didn't know until they made it official. Like, can you think of an angle recently where you haven't seen the guy, where it's only been one-sided?
That's a hard one.
Wait, you're asking if
What's like the best angle?
The best angle you've only seen one person, like that build-up with just one guy. Because Bray Wyatt, I think he's a perfect character to do that. You can't. That's a lot of stock that you're giving Bray Wyatt, for one, that he could carry an angle on his own with just the name, the weight of the name, you know.
Right.
But I can't remember in recent times where it's like one guy's doing all the work, and he's building up for possibly the last match in the Undertaker's career on the biggest stage
He's making it work well.
in terms of WrestleMania. I think alone, I don't care about the match because I think this is showing to me that Bray Wyatt's gonna be a legitimate, badass character for years to come, just from this work.
Oh
alone.
yeah.
I agree completely.
But what do you guys, with that aside, what are you guys thinking about? What do you guys think about the match? What are you anticipating, and how do you think it's gonna play out after? The Undertaker's wrestled what, twice in 2 years?
I think twice last year.
Oh, was it? Yeah, he wrestled. Didn't he wrestle? Was it a tag match he wrestled before?
The Shield?
Yeah, the Shield with Kane and
He
Daniel
tore.
Bryan.
They all tore the house down in that match as well.
Yeah, but you look at the names he's fought, just in WrestleMania. Brock, Triple H, Shawn Michaels,
CM Punk.
CM Punk, big names, huge names.
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair. What's the one match they don't really recognize?
A-Train. It was A-Train and Big Show versus versus Undertaker
And
Nathan Jones, and Nathan Jones is in the match for about 2 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. I even forgot the guy's name. I just remember watching a match with him on SmackDown and be like, what the fuck is this guy doing in wrestling?
They had a segment on SmackDown once with Undertaker giving him a training seminar in front of like everybody, and it was like a segment on SmackDown. And I was like, this is what we're really watching right now.
Yeah, that time period, I think, with that match, I was in Iraq. Ugh, that tastes like shit. I was in Iraq, and so it was good last night, not good tonight. Oh God, what the hell? It's an Angry Orchard, the hard cider, which I like, but it's Hoppin' Mad Apple. It's got hops.
Sounds pretty gross to me.
Yeah, and it's purple. Here I am. Officially, I am like the Dolph Ziggler of drinking right now. It's purple, and it's a non-beer beer. So I'm trying to make
Don't
this.
call a stunner you for that.
I want to stun
Yeah,
him.
you're not drinking that the right way in the eyes of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You get a Stone Cold stunner for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? I listen to this podcast. He drinks a lot of that Sierra Nevada, the Torpedo IPA, which is good. But man, he was the name of shit beer for years. I'm sorry, I drank.
Yeah, he used to Miller Lite.
But I mean, come on. I mean, dude, if you put your piss on ice, that's about what he was drinking. I'm sorry.
You also imagine the matches that he bladed afterwards. He's pouring beer all over himself.
Yeah, but it's just like that can't taste good. Bud Light and blood. No, not good.
Yeah, right.
Reaper Customs 09 says on Twitter, Taker still has to face Sting. This won't be his last WrestleMania.
I think you should do that.
I disagree completely. You're 15, maybe 17 years too late on this. This is something that I remember as a kid during the, Monday Night Wars, opening the Wrestling Illustrated magazines and seeing Taker and Sting, and seeing Austin and Goldberg, and, they built up those dream matches, and it's just too late. I just don't want to see it now. I'm okay with seeing Undertaker wrestle, one or two more times, and I'm okay with seeing Sting wrestle one or two more times, just not against each other. I just don't want to watch it now.
Yeah, I can see that point. I mean, we all wish. I mean, deep down inside, if they were like even on the twilight of their prime, man, I would love to see Taker and Sting.
Absolutely.
That was like the ultimate '90s character for for both guys in both brands, WWE.
I mean, that and Austin and Goldberg.
Yeah, and WCW. They were both pretty much, I want to say, the biggest individual they had in like WWF or WCW. They had the mirror image of the other, in the other brand, and it just
Absolutely.
perfectly because Goldberg was the big name in WCW. Steve Austin was the big name, but the two, like, the backbones, arguably, I mean, you have your Ric Flairs, you have your Macho Mans, you have those guys, but it was like Sting and Undertaker were the larger than life characters. It weren't, that wasn't their personality of sorts, their persona. Like Steve Austin, like you listen to his shows now, that's pretty much the same guy. Bill Goldberg, that's pretty much the same guy, but for
I
character.
thought Glacier was the best persona.
But you know what, my friends, you'd never watch the Barry Horowitz match then. There you go. Before the self high five, there was the solo pat on the back, right there. I love Barry Horowitz. Who was when he would tag team, there was another jobber he would tag team. I forgot his name back in WCW Universal Studio days. It was big. I can't remember. Reno Riggins. Was that Reno
Riggins? That's one I haven't heard. Reno. Yeah, okay. No, he had the
dice
long
on his...
ponytail.
No, there was the one that was in the what was that, the animal something, fine young animals, or
the jeez.
Shoot, with Sanders and Stasiak and Palumbo.
The Filthy Animals.
Was it the Filthy Animals?
The Filthy Animals. They were they
yeah,
feuded with DDP and Kevin Nash, not the outsiders, but the insiders.
Yeah, well, there was that Reno in that group who was actually from Buffalo. I knew him before he went to the power plant.
Really?
He was a bouncer at a bar by the airport in Buffalo, and he had long hair. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to wrestle at WCW." And that dude was big. It was just like a big dude. And then you see him, it's like, what the hell? You look like you look like a suntan Mongolian with that. He had the jorts with the thong thing painted in the Mongolian hair tie thing going on. But there was another guy. There was another
making a fashion statement for sure.
Yeah. But there was another guy in the early to mid '90s who would team up with Barry Horowitz, who something Reno. God, I can't remember his name. But we're getting a little away from ourselves. We'll talk about that WCW in a few moments. We're going back to Raw, shaping WrestleMania. Like, is it meeting your expectations as a fan? Is it meeting your expectations as... Everybody's got that dream booker within themselves, like how they would book matches, how they would book WrestleMania. We talked about how we would book like Bryan and Lesnar, and then Lesnar, losing, and Bryan and Rollins, not Rollins, but
Reigns,
and how they could have turned that into something. But with the matches pretty much cemented now, is it meeting your expectations of a good show?
I mean, I've seen better build-ups, but I mean, it's okay.
It's decent.
Yeah, I'd give it like a 7 out of 10.
I think the Sting Triple H could be better.
Might I add on the Sting Triple H thing, what was with Sting's voice being deepened on Monday, and his promo sounded absolutely awful.
Like he was Batman.
Yeah, he was watching The Dark Knight before, and he's back there. He's he had laryngitis or something. He was probably back there practicing Triple H, like all that. Triple H
sounded like John Laurinaitis.
Oh, does anybody want to? He's gonna induct the Bushwhackers into the Hall of Fame.
He is?
Yeah. You know why?
Why is that?
He was the flag bearer for the Bushwhackers when he first started off in his career when they were the sheep herders.
I did not know that.
Yep, he waved around the New Zealand flag with his lovely blonde hair, and when the Bushwhackers were bad guys, when they were the sheep herders, yeah, he was.
The
That's why.
sheeper.
Yeah, that's where he got his start. Yeah, they were around for like 12, 15 years before they even hit WWF.
Yeah.
They wrestled in Australia, New Zealand, and the territories in the 70s, and they were like ruthless, brutal,
Yeah, I was gonna say they used to be taken serious back
badasses, and then
in
they
the
get
day
to
before
WWF.
they were comedy.
Yeah, they were like they were like the white ass clown version of the Dudleys. With the camouflage and the tank tops. So, but yeah, with leading up, like you said, it's not as good as of a lead up. Like last year, I thought it was a poor lead up
Yeah, that was poor.
into WrestleMania. How does it compare to last year? Because it seems like every year the lead up gets shorter and shorter, and they try to do so much in like so little time. I think in a few years from now, it's going to be the week before WrestleMania. We're going to figure out what the headliner is.
Well, I think they need to, you know, work on starting these feuds a little bit earlier. You know, they started some of these feuds right before, Fastlane.
They used to
And
do like back. They used to have Backlash. Used to start at Backlash.
oh yeah, I mean they would
Go
start
all the
building
way,
up.
all the way to the month, all the way to WrestleMania. Now they don't do that anymore.
Well, yeah, that's what me and Mike were watching Backlash 2000.
2002, I think.
No, I think it was Austin because Austin came out and
Yeah,
helped
it
The
was-
Rock,
it was 2000.
which eventually that going into the year because Backlash was the first pay-per-view of the year. Going into the year, WrestleMania 17, the main event was Rock and Austin. So, kind of built up right there, but
Now they're just lazy with their product. I mean,
Yeah, I think if they built up, like, I know you start the headliner, the end of the Royal Rumble, and I understand like they're going to use Fastlane or that mid whatever next year's going to be because I don't think Fastlane sticks. I think that's lame. I'd rather have In Your House, again, but it seems like they put too much stock into that in between pay-per-view. Like they should really start cementing the angles by that mid pay-per-view.
I personally think they should get rid of the mid pay-per-view. They have like what was it like 5 mid building up to the main pay-per-view. They got 2 pay-per-views, what every or is it? It's about a pay-per-view a month, right?
yeah, pay-per-view.
So I think they need to start cutting it out to make some pay-per-views mean a little more.
Like they used to.
Yeah, even if they got rid of one and they spread out, a couple of the pay-per-views, take those extra few weeks they have and just bump them around a little bit. I think it might mean more. I mean, I remember when I was a little kid when there was 4 pay-per-views. The build up to just the Survivor Series was amazing, and it was a bunch of put together teams. Like I'm going to take this angle and this angle and combine them. That was exciting because you're like you waited so long for it, and I understand like the economics and the business approach to it. But do you even need all those pay-per-views if you got the network now?
I really don't think you do, honestly. I mean, I don't even think you. I don't know. I don't even think you need them. I don't think you need a 3-hour Raw and that many pay-per-views throughout a year. I feel like there's just too much going on, and that's why they don't have better storylines, and that's why you're not getting the best of the best. You're getting just a little bit less than the best. It's decent.
Yeah, I'm still trying to find the freaking Barry Horowitz's tag team partner. But yeah, you brought up a good point. Like it's not needed. You don't need all these. The 3-hour Raw, it sucks. As somebody who has a child, who wants to go to those events. Like my daughter's 8 years old. I can't take her to a Raw. I tried it. It was a train wreck. Because you have the dark matches, you have the main event tapings and stuff like that. And by the time
And then they have the dark match after the main event.
Draining.
The post dark match, which why do you need a post dark match? You don't need a post dark match. Yeah, and
when you have a 3-hour show.
And they're killing their wrestlers too, so.
Yeah, and Reaper Customs 09 on Twitter just said, get rid of 3-hour Raw and go to a pay-per-view every 2 months. I'd be fine with that. Or if you get rid of a pay-per-view every other month, like get rid of, let's just say you get rid of 4 of those minor pay-per-views. For that month, make a Raw 3 hours. Make like a Clash of Champions almost, make like a Super Raw, or Super Show.
Well, the super shows, that wasn't too bad. The super shows when they used to do 10th anniversary of Raw, it's gonna be a 3-hour episode, or 1000th episode of Raw, it's gonna be a 3-hour episode. I was fine with 2-hour episodes, except for the special ones.
Yeah, and it made it. That was the thing. It was like, okay, Raw's cool. 9 times out of 10, I don't want to miss it. But remember old school Raw when it was in Buffalo?
Yeah. Yeah, which was a decent show.
Yeah, and I wasn't in Buffalo. I was stationed. I think I was in. I'm not sure if I was in Wisconsin or Pennsylvania at the time. But that was like, I gotta watch it, not just because it's my, filmed in my hometown.
And The Rock was there.
Yeah, but it was like old school Raw, and I was gonna see the vignettes, up in the corner of the screen, and just as somebody watching it, it's like I wanted to watch it, and have Lord Alfred Hayes. I was going to say Sir Oliver Humperdinck. Lord Alfred Hayes, his voice on the cutscene. That just made it special. It was like I'm watching something cool. I'm watching something I don't want to miss.
And the sirens going off.
Yeah.
Mark.
Yeah, I loved the feel of Raw before they had Papa Roach do the intro music back in 2005.
05. It was 07.
Something like that. I just the sirens, Steve Austin walking through a junkyard, and then just all of a sudden you got
hell yeah.
You got
Nothing's better than that intro.
You got Kane fighting Billy Gunn. You got all these guys just punching each other in the ring randomly, and here's Steve Austin just walking through fire. It's like, that's awesome. It was way better than Nitro and their stupid helicopters on this really shitty photoshopped sign.
Well, I thought it was cool how they used to do, they would do the first half of the show. They would make it okay for the kids to watch, and then the second half of the show, because it's prime time, they would kick into, throw some attitude into it and make it more for the 18 to 34 demographic.
That's what they need to do. And here's the thing: this is going back, close to 20 years. Guess what? For that demographic, 18 years ago, for that demographic who was 25, 30 back then watching it. They're close to 50, and I think they're able to handle some swearing. I think they're able to handle some, no offense, but some TNA. But nobody knows what channel that's on. Destination TV Guide. How about that? So to find it. But here's the thing: the shtick is, and I understand a brand, I understand marketing and things of that nature. It's like we market to everybody. Well, guess what? Not everybody's watching TV at 10:30 at night, because my daughter is not watching Raw at 10:30 at night. She's sleeping. We have agreed. She used to watch the first half hour of Raw. Her bedtime's 8:30. She'd watch, and for me, I was hoping it was either going to be John Cena out there, Daniel Bryan, or the Usos, because it was like, okay, Golden or CM Punk. It's like, those are the guys my daughter likes, or Big Show. She still talks about Big Show choke slamming Maddox at a house show.
I wish I could say I enjoyed the same.
You liked it just because Dad, that little guy got chokeslammed by the Big Show. She doesn't care that the Big Show's a heel. She still likes the Big Show because he picked up some little tiny dude and chokeslammed no matter how show. The point is, like, I have a little girl who has the John Cena T-shirts, who has the autographs, who has the foam fingers and stuff like that. She's not up at 10:30 at night watching it. If you have an 8 to a 10, 12-year-old up at 10:30 at night watching, that kid should be in bed. 13, okay, because you know what your 13-year-old's doing behind your back? He's seeing a lot worse than what he could hear on Raw. I understand the headshots with chairs, the blood, the barbed wire. Okay, I get that, but can I maybe hear shit once in a while, or just something once in a while to make me feel like you're treating me like an adult?
Well, it's not even that. It's just hearing. It's also the making me feel like an adult thing because WWE treats you like you're a child way too much. I think they forget that. Those aren't the only ones watching. So just here and there, they forget that. That there's a wider demographic watching because now everybody watches. It's not just a certain age.
Yeah.
But it's a lot larger of the kids.
Yeah, and on the never-ending search for Barry Horowitz's tag team partner, Reaper Customs 09 said Barry Horowitz's tag team partner, Barry Hardy, which I think he tag teamed with Barry Hardy in the late 80s.
Barry Hardy wrestles local for Indy Feds in the area.
Does he?
Yes, he does.
Damn. He also said Hakushi. He did tag with Hakushi. In the 90s, but there was another guy that slips my mind. It's funny how watch, it's going to be a trending name on Twitter is going to be Barry Horowitz. Reno Riggins. I think it was Reno Riggins. I think that was the name. Thank you, Reaper Customs. I think it was Reno Riggins. But yeah, that dude was you had one guy patting himself on the back, the other guy had snake eyes on his ass. They were a badass tag team because they made horrible teams look really good from the bumps they took. Just the ass beating that they were able to receive. Good stuff. Well, now let's go on to. I want to get into two things with the show still. One, it was asked that we talk about this last week, and we ran out of time. It's on the indie scene with that video of Kimberly getting a chair shot, a running power bomb, and then a very rude and inconsiderate pin. I tell you what, if anybody ever pinned me and their junk was in my mouth, I'd be kicking out. I'm sorry.
Hey, well, you want to talk about getting major heel heat, man? That's how you do it right there.
She's a champ for taking it too.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. And the fact that she took those hits.
I didn't see what happened before that. Did you guys watch the whole match or the whole thing?
No. I definitely should go back and watch it.
But the chair shot alone was brutal for anybody.
He wasn't holding back.
No.
She took it like a champ, like I said.
Did take it like a champ, but I think that okay. I think there's three, and this is why people clamor against pro wrestling because of stuff like that. I was raised on ECW, watching ECW and watching WCCW, which I don't know why you guys didn't want that as a history mark of the week, prick ass listeners. But I think stuff like that when you see. I can't even. Okay, ECW chicks took chair shots like that, but not even in WWF when they had some pretty good women wrestlers. I don't think they were taking shots like that.
No.
It took tables, so.
I don't even think Blewett McGillicuddy was taking shots like. Yeah, they were getting.
Oh, Beulah.
Pile drivers.
She was a tough cookie too.
But were they? I don't remember a girl in WCW, WWE, or ECW taking a shot like that with a chair, with a weapon. I mean, I remember like the power bombs, the Dudley drops, pile drivers, stuff like that. But just a chair shot like that, I can't remember.
You know what the worst is WrestleMania 17 in the TLC match. Rhino spears Gore's Lita.
Yeah.
She had on the ladder, right?
Yeah, she hits her head on the ladder. He damn near rips her in half.
But she was a badass. She was a badass wrestler. I think she could.
Oh yeah, she was.
You could go like legitimately just. I think compete against, a lot of guys. She had a great move set. She damn good. I think she was better than China. China was just strong, but Lita, like.
China could have been much, much more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. Steroids and breast implants, it'll do it to you. But going to the Kimberly thing, there's three reasons. I think three people that should be considered a-holes for that, because you get, okay, here's the thing. People watch WWE, and then they hear, okay, there's an indie, promotion putting on a show. I'm going to take my kid to that.
No, that's where all the drunk bastards go.
Well, that's the thing. The hardcore fans, the internet wrestling fans will go there. But then you get the occasional kid that I want to go see wrestling, an unsuspecting, oblivious parent. Like, okay, let's go to this. And then they're seeing shots like that. They're seeing stuff like that. That's when you're never watching wrestling again, and then that kid sneaking wrestling, to watch it. Because I remember my mom saw something. You're never watching that crap again. I think it was like Miss Elizabeth getting knocked down. And she, you can't do that. It's like, Mom, I see that every night you drink. But I think Kimberly was. They say, yeah, do everything, take everything that comes your way to move up, But I don't think I'd condone that. I wouldn't want to take a chair shot like that if I was a dude, much less a chick. The wrestler that hit her, the guy that hit her, I think it's like you could sell a chair shot by, without, completely winding up like that. I think ultimately the promoter, whoever said
that was okay.
Yeah, whoever said I got a great idea, go with it. I think that's stupid, because you get some publicity, on the internet, and people might want to see those girls wrestle, but then I think you're doing a disservice, around the board. What do you think about that whole thing?
Well, first things first, even though I love chair shots to the head because I think it adds so much more effect to the match. I just think in today's wrestling, it's a no-go. It shouldn't be allowed. It's not tolerable anymore to whack a guy, or especially a girl, in the head, with the steel chair. It's not 1999 where McFoley's getting whacked in the face 12 times.
Oh man,
by The Rock.
I tell you what, just watching that match when he was handcuffed and getting hit over the head repeatedly with a chair, and then fast forward to watching Mick Foley's documentary about wanting to be Santa Claus. If you don't think there's any lingering effects of a chair shot, that right there, like the guy went from this most psychotic wrestler to he's getting a hard on dressing up like Santa Claus. It's like, okay, that's what happens when you're times in the head with a chair.
It's his innocence, man.
Just the fact that, okay, like, all right, if you could play it up and sell it really good, I'm cool with the occasional chair shot, but like, it just, not even the PC aspect of it, just the aspect of people, how you understand how damaging, concussions are nowadays.
There's just, personally, there's no place for it.
Yeah, medically, there's no reason to do that to yourself, because, okay, say you got a thick head and you could take a good chair shot and you're okay with it. Well, the guy swinging the chair might not be good at aiming, and he might just okay, you get hit with the seat of the chair, the back part of the chair. that guy misses and cracks you across the head, with the edge of the chair, you're going to be seeing stars, for a while. Take the same effect, take the cane, all right? It's going to hurt. Really good effect. When I was part of that wrestling show, they were taking cane shots. It's not as bad as a chair shot, It's not as damaging, and it's louder. There's more effect, more cause for effect.
Well, it's the look on a lot of these things.
Yeah. Well, do you think maybe? What about if the whole chair shot thing was supposed to be the end of it? And he's like, you know what? This chick did a dine and dash on us the last time we ate after a show. I'm gonna powerbomb her now because she's she's gay.
Hey, man, just imagine if he would have set the chairs up in the middle of the ring and power bombed them through them. Now that would have been that would have been a little more extreme.
Yeah, I was listening to JR's podcast last night when he had Terry Funk on, and like Terry Funk was saying, he was the first person in like the Texas territory, because his finisher was the pile driver. How he was pile driving people through tables. He goes, he only had to do it a few times, and there was a famous match and angle with him and Flair, where he gave Flair a pile driver through a table.
Broke his neck.
Yeah, and he goes, I only had to do it a couple times. You did it once, and it was there. It made the angle. It killed the angle. It was the blow off. It was, the culmination. He goes, I only had to do it a few times, and his thing was he was against like doing it constantly. I remember when it was like special to see somebody go through the announcer's table. It was like,
oh, they killed that in the 90s.
Yeah, it was a big thing. I mean, yeah, ECW. I love ECW. They, as cool as it was, they ruined a lot of things, in terms of just how cool it was to see somebody, get hit with a chair. How cool it was to see somebody go through a table.
Well, not only that, but every pay-per-view, in the WWE, WWF at the time, somebody's going through the Spanish announce table, which to this day is something that we all hold near and dear to our hearts.
Yeah, that was very special. The Spanish announce table, I'd like that. Save it for a pay-per-view. Save it for one of the big 4 pay-per-views. And
not on Raw every week.
No, there's no need for it every week. And here's my thing. It's like, when I was younger, what is that announcer going to do now? Because you look like a complete idiot just sitting in a folding chair, nothing there. It's like, really.
They rebuild the table now.
I never noticed.
I think them rebuilding the table looks awful. I think it looks so silly.
Yeah. The one thing, they should go back to when the announcer's table was just a folding table with a long placemat on it. Like not WWE, WrestleMania 1 style, where the announcer table was right up against the damn ring.
Absolutely, like they used to do in WCW in the mid '90s or so with Jim Ross and Paul E. Dangerously.
Yes, which leads us into, because it's going to be perfect timing, our history mark of the week. Every week we go back into wrestling time and history, and we'll pick out a wrestler, we'll pick out an angle, we'll pick out a territory or a federation or a match or a pay-per-view, and we'll break it down, discuss it about why we love it, what made it cool, or what made it crappy, whatever the case may be. Last week we had we had Terry Funk. To my dismay, this week we were picking territories and old federations, or eras of federations, because you can't just say WCW or WWF. It's there's certain eras, whether it's Attitude or mid '90s or WWF in the '70s. So we had AWA, we had WCCW, and we had mid to late '90s WCW. And no shit, mid to late 90s WCW it is. So mid to late 90s. There you go, Hulkster. You found your nest to roost.
Life.
And listen, right after this show, you can watch Tropic Thunder. Not what was that? Thunder. What was that TV show he had?
Tropic Thunder.
Was it Tropic Thunder, or was that the movie? That was a movie, wasn't it? Tropic.
The
Thunder?
movie was No Holds Barred.
No, I thought it was something in Paradise. Tropic Thunder.
Oh, Thunder in Paradise.
Yeah, where he had the brown hair and the stubble. It was like, it was NWO Hogan without the dye job.
Yes, sir.
But now we're talking, and we got 12 minutes left in the show, which would be enough time to talk mid to late 90s WCW. Since you won, we already know who's going to talk about it first. And you gotta go with your wrestling name this time. The show name, my friend.
Well, I can tell you that this is a time in wrestling that I hold a near and dear place in my heart for. This is the time that I was growing up, and I remember in 1997 going up to the HSBC Arena and seeing Sting drop from the Raptors, man, and I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world, even though I wasn't even a Sting fan, just to be a part of that and only be like a 6-year-old kid, you know. I mean, I was so into it, you know, since I was a kid, I've eaten, breathed, and slept and lived pro wrestling. So seeing that as a kid, it was huge, and obviously seeing Hogan. And the cool thing that I still remember to this day, going to my very first Nitro, was Dennis Rodman was there.
Okay, so you went to I didn't go to that. I remember sitting at home and watching it with my best friend Chris, who, when we had long hair, long time ago, I had long blonde hair. We used to say we looked like Edge and Christian. The Brood, Edge and Christian.
The Brood classic. There you go.
Not flash photography, but professional wrestling. What Sting coming down from the Raptors was a huge thing. The NWO was a huge thing. You know, Goldberg, huge thing. The guys that came over from ECW into WCW, you know, lucha wrestling, you know, a lot of it, started. ECW brought it to light, but WCW brought a lot of that stuff to the forefront in terms of, like, you know, the smaller guys going at it, the cruiserweights, the technical guys like Malenko and stuff like that. Besides the big name guys like the NWO and Sting and Luger and stuff like that, what was the hidden gem of that time period that really made WCW at that time, like, just like you had to watch it? I remember it was it wasn't Raw that I first saw at a bar. It was Nitro that the first time I saw a wrestling show played at a bar. It was Nitro. It was that damn cool, where, you know, you're at a nightclub in Buffalo, because, you know, I'm older than you guys, and I'm sneaking into bars, and Nitro's on. You're trying to pick up chicks, but it's like Nitro's on.
Nitro's on.
Nitro's on.
Our one buddy Aaron.
Booker T right now. Please.
Our one buddy Aaron once made a joke and said, Adam is going to be standing at his wedding someday, and he's going to say, I don't think I want to get married. I'd much rather smoke hookah and watch professional wrestling with the boys.
Nice. Reaper Customs 09 said, WCW, Raven and the Flock. Quote the Raven.
Yes, sir.
I love Raven.
That was... And that's exactly what I'm talking about. That was one of those things. Like, Raven's Flock made, I'm not going to say it made WCW, but that's part of that era that made it just freaking awesome to watch.
Absolutely.
To me, I think, you know, the minor aspects of the show, the Flock was awesome to watch. It was pretty damn cool. Watching Van Hammer become relevant. Watching some of these like these nobody guys become relevant and
Canyon.
Canyon, yeah, Scotty Riggs. Whenever the American males go on and are in two cool factions, like the Flock and the NWO, it's like you're onto something because that was bathroom breaks. Before it was when the American males would come out. It's like, ugh. Um, so I would say the Flock. I would say cruiserweight, pretty damn cool to watch. Just the amount they had. It's like, did they ever show a Mexican twice, not named Hoovy or Ray?
Hoovy was the man, though.
What was the one guy? They had some, just some. What was it? Silver Cowboy or Silver Cowboy?
What was the Jeez, I don't remember.
Dr. Wagner?
You know what I'm trying to remember? I want to remember
Syncope?
Chavo's. No, I try not to. Chavo's. Pepe.
Pepe. Yeah.
Pepe, the horse.
That was funny. Oh God. I'm just thinking of his Kermit gimmick, his white gimmick. Before.
Oh, God, that's terrible.
The blonde hair.
Yeah, but that was the other Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero.
LWO.
LWO. Dean Malenko.
Psychosis.
Psychosis. Dude, Psychosis and Rey Mysterio and ECW were cool. Watching them in WCW, it was like these guys are freaking awesome. Yeah.
You know who another good one is, and had really good ring talent that I always enjoyed watching was Buff Bagwell. I enjoyed him a lot when I was a kid.
I used to do his dance. I was a mechanic at an auto shop, and I used to do the Buff Bagwell dance all the time.
And he's
this goofy ass top hat.
He's a lot like Tammy's baby boy. He's got his mama in his corner. He had Judy Bagwell back in the day.
See, okay, now you're reminding me why I can't stand WCW, because they took something. How can you take something that good and F it up? That's like, that's like marrying a 10 and watching her become a 2.
It really is.
Stop it. Judy Bagwell, Dave Arquette. I mean, it was more besides that. It was cool as it was.
Vince Russo.
Yeah, common denominator. As cool as it was watching Rodman and Karl Malone and Jay Leno, like big name guys, like WWE doesn't put Wiz Khalifa in a tag match to headline Raw. They didn't put Jon Stewart in a championship match to headline Raw. Yeah, you have those guys in there. You have a Hugh Jackman. He's punching Dolph Ziggler and breaking his jaw. But that's where I think WCW had the right idea. Modern WWE is perfected. I guess the best way you could put a celebrity in. Pete Rose getting chokeslammed. I mean, tombstoned numerous times by Kane. Awesome thing. Watching Dave Arquette win the belt ruined it for me. Stuff like that. Judy Bagwell ruined it for me. Where do you think you had this beautiful thing like late 90s WCW, and we know who did it, Vince Russo and power struggles and stuff like that. But what was the moment? What was the moment for you where you were just like, I'm not gonna watch. This isn't gonna be around much longer.
Finger poke of doom.
I was gonna say that. Finger poke of doom.
Yeah, do you think anybody would...
You talk about taking a storyline.
I just got to tell you, Buff Bagwell was the shit. Don't forget Steiner Brothers in their prime. Yeah, the Steiners. Tag team wrestling in WCW.
Damn right, the Steiner Brothers.
Steiner Brothers, Harlem
Don't forget
Heat.
Scott Steiner from a higher education. Michigan University.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. The Varsity Club. I mean, this is going earlier on, WCW, but when Rick Steiner and Mike Rotunda, you had IRS and the Dogface Gremlin, and who else was in the
Kevin Sullivan.
Kevin Sullivan. There was one other guy, or there was a
It
couple.
was Rick Martel.
Was it Rick
No,
Martel?
Rick Martel is Mike Rotunda, right?
No, Mike Rotunda
That's
was
IRS.
Rick Martel's the model. There was another guy. Was it like Wyndham? Was it Barry Wyndham or something like that?
It wasn't Wyndham. Wyndham was with he was with Kurt Hennig at the time.
Yeah, yeah. But even earlier WCW was cool. But you guys brought up a good point. The finger poke of doom was just like, what is that?
You have a storyline that could have just been, just because of at that time how things were going, you split that NWO team like that. Man was the Wolfpack over.
Oh yeah, yeah. I had a Wolfpack T-shirt.
Oh my God, who did love the Wolfpack?
The only thing I didn't like about it was some of the guys, like Lex.
I cannot stand Lex Luger.
Buffalo Zone.
He's bit out of Chicago though.
He's from Orchard Park. Actually,
yeah, he's from OP.
I'm in Orchard Park right now. I like to know where that mullet-haired, egotistical pill popper is from. Yeah, we'll see. But maybe I'll just walk around with a full-length mirror and be narcissistic.
Yeah. Hulk Hogan replacement, my ass.
Yeah. But like you said, the Wolfpack, hugely over, gigantically over. The finger poke of doom. Like, where could they have gone right when you had the black and white, you had the Wolfpack, you had the LWO, you had all these really good factions because they had a ton of guys in there.
Well, that's the problem.
Horsemen, yeah, they needed to thin out the herd, so to speak. But where could they have gone right?
It's not that they shouldn't have added. It's not that they should have kept it the original 3, but they should not have made it. They should not have made the NWO a 52-guy thing. There was absolutely no need. Like, oh, this guy's my buddy. You think we can add him in so he gets some camera time? Like, absolutely not. The WCW's biggest problem was they let the inmates run the prison.
Yeah, when you had Ray Traylor and Mean Mike Enos and the NWO, I was like, oh, yeah, did you really need that? Every guy need to do that? It was just there was one tag that was an underrated tag team. Mike Enos? That was the first run-in with Scott Hall. It was a Mike Enos match.
He came in from the crowd.
Who was Mike Enos tagging with? Was it Barry Windham? Was it Windham or was it Duncan?
It was Windham.
Was it Windham? That was a good That was a good tag team. Like it was like what, like the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, or something.
I think so.
Something like that. That was a good tag team. I like every once in a while. I like a good like unknown where do these guys come from kick-ass tag team. Kind of like the Well Done. I don't know. I was a fan of Well Done in early '90s WWF.
K-Quick and Road Dogg.
Yeah. It just Conan. Yeah, Conan. Can't forget. Conan was awesome. He was the Mexican Hulk Hogan, and dude was raw. Max can Max Moon work? But Conan was a good individual in the Wolfpack. He made that. He had that vibe for it.
Well, yeah. The Wolfpack, though, they had the total package because they had Disco Inferno for the entertainment purposes.
I thought that was funny. Man, Disco had me going. I'm here literally because of Disco. The first shirt I ever came home in, a onesie from the hospital when I was born. It said Disco Baby, and it had a 45 record on it. So I had a soft spot for old Disco Inferno there. I wanted him in NWO so bad. It's just, God damn it. So it was just one of those things. But when you had Dusty Rhodes and all that stuff, it was just like, you're missing the mark.
No. Dusty Rhodes was an amazing addition. Him screwing over Larry Zbyszko in that Scott Hall and Larry Zbyszko match.
That was cool.
Oh my God, that's one of those timeless moments that just I personally will never forget.
He could have screwed him over, but they could have kept the shirt off of him, the NWO shirt, because that's when it was like, no, it's supposed to be, even though I think the biggest thing where they went wrong, and I think WCW could possibly, maybe theoretically, still be around if they did not have Hulk Hogan in the NWO. I think it would have been. I think it would have lasted if they would have had Sting, in the as the third guy.
Just because of the circumstances, Sting being the flag bearer and being, so to speak, the Hulk Hogan of WCW, that does work. And I think that could go the right way, but you had to change.
It saved Hogan's career, basically.
Yeah, Hogan's career. It wasn't going. It wasn't going to look much better.
He's getting booed like Cena's now.
It was getting boring. I didn't want to be told to take my vitamins and say my prayers anymore. It's 1996. We're MTV minded people that aren't thinking about all that positivity and whatnot all the time. Times change.
I think well, here's the thing. You know how the NWO made Sting, revived him as well. Everybody at that
Scott
time.
Hall came up with that character, actually.
Yeah, and I've heard that. And Scott Hall, I think, damn dude, what a wasted opportunity, I think, because the dude was awesome in AWA. Awesome in WWF, awesome in WCW. And it's just like, I've heard so many times from like shows and stuff like that where it's like, Scott Hall came up with this idea. Scott Hall came up with that idea. It's just like,
well, I once
Scott Hall COO. I think there you go.
Well, yeah, I once heard Jim Ross say in an interview. He said if he were to be handed a promotion and they were to say, you're the promoter, and you get to pick whoever you want to be on your writing squad, and you get to pick whoever you want to do this and that. And he said if he were to pick one guy to sit down and watch his entire show and come up with ideas, it would be Scott Hall, hands down.
And it's funny, I've heard, I don't know if this, I've heard like Raven, people put Raven in the same esteem, where it was just,
yes, that's another one.
I heard, believe it or not, Jim Cornette. I like Jim Cornette ideas. He's kind of like Vince Russo without the assholeness.
If you told him that, he'd blow a freaking gasket. He'd have a heart attack if you told me it was like Vince Russo.
Oh yeah, you know what? I've been ever since he was with the running around with that loaded tennis racket. I've wanted to insult him ever since I was a little kid. The only thing that came of Scott Hall from the NWO was, hey yo, you forget the survey.
How sweet.
Too sweet.
Too sweet.
Cool. No, but yeah, I would wonder. I would love to sit down and listen to like Scott Hall and Raven talk about wrestling together, like book matches, book stuff like that. Do you ever see that fantasy? It was like, okay, give a year. There's some videos on YouTube where they give Raven a year, and he takes the talent that's in that promotion in that year, and he builds for an entire year's like main event, like a WrestleMania or something like that.
Oh wow, I bet that's interesting.
Just like listening to him, it's like, holy, yeah, that would work. That's what I wanted to see 10 years ago, 12 years ago. It's just brilliant. And the same thing with Scott Hall. Stuff he talks about, like, I mean, brilliant. as great as WCW was, I think unfortunately there was a lot of flaws, and I think if you reversed everything, I think personally I think Sting would have worked as the third guy in WCW. I mean in NWO, and I think minus the Sting gimmick, but if you would have gave him like that disciple gimmick, I think Hulk Hogan would still have been relevant. Like make him the badass biker type, looking
Like
guy.
they did with when he feuded with Kinman.
Yeah, yeah. I think that would have worked if he had to become like the lone badass. Like obviously Sting, the face paint worked because he had been doing that for a while. But or like the American badass. You give something like that for Hogan coming down on the bike. Instead of the American hero, be the American badass. I think that would have worked perfectly for Hogan. You know, and just not sit there and say, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and blah blah blah, and this and that, and don't testify in a steroid case, all that stuff. If they would have said like, you
Not cool. Not all right.
sorry, nails. But if they would have taken like a gimmick, like Hulk Hogan, the lone badass, like everybody turned their back on him, and he would have fought the NWO. I think that could have worked, and to me, I think that could have worked better.
I mean, personally, I'm getting excited thinking about it, man, because that would have been pretty epic.
Yeah, it just because it would have watching Hulk Hogan in those first couple NWO promos, just to me, I mean, it was cool at the time. It's like, holy cow, Hogan's a badass. He's bad. Hindsight, you watch it now, it's like, damn, was he so out of place? It just didn't fit. I think Sting could have fit a little bit better because, and here's where I would think they could have booked it. Sting was upset at WCW because he carried WCW for so long, and then they just gave it to Hulk Hogan when he showed up. And I think that's how they could have built in NWO.
Because he's Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, because he's Hulk Hogan, and then
That's like Peyton Manning coming in.
yeah, touche. No love for Tim Tebow.
Gotta go.
Yeah, but yeah, we could fantasy book all day long. But yeah, that in my personal opinion. But looking back on WCW, fond memories. Besides the big ones, or the big ones, what is you guys' fondest memory of mid to late '90s WCW? Whether it's an angle, a promo, individual, coming for you, nigga. That was probably one of the best promos I saw in WCW. But what was the quintessential moment where it was like, this is why WCW was the best at that time?
I already got one thought out, other than that same Nitro show that I was talking about earlier that I went to, where I also saw Jim Kelly deck Macho Man in the mouth.
Oh, shit, yeah.
But definitely, I think one moment that sticks out very, very much so to me is Bret Hart winning he's against Chris Benoit, the tribute show for the tribute match for Owen Hart.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
In the arena that Owen died, actually.
Yep. Yeah, that was a really good point, Mike. How about you? What's that one moment that just sticks out for you? It's like,
My favorite is when Dustin Rhodes had that promo when he had that silly gimmick and he like shoot on WF for Goldust and how they shit on the whole Rhodes family, and it's like wow, like he isn't, it's pretty cool.
oh, what was it? 7? Was it 7?
7.
That's all.
They wore the white face paint.
Yeah, they did all those vignettes, and then it came out. Yeah, great point. That was awesome. My personal one was Eddie Guerrero walking out.
Yeah.
When he did that shoot, and he walked out like, I'm packing my bags. He had his suitcase, like, I'm ready to go, and then led up to the LWO, but just that moment, it was like, that's I think when you got, with the Dusty Rhodes match, with Chris Benoit, fighting that tribute match, with Eddie Guerrero walking out, that showed just how much like WCW was blurring lines and breaking kayfabe, and like that's real. Like that
Um,
Rhodes promo was like, holy shit,
you
Dolph
know,
got pissed.
something. Another one was when the Horsemen reunited, and Ric Flair was no longer with WCW, and Eric Bischoff comes out and he screams, "Fire me! I'm already fired!" And he's telling him, "You're a scam and a son of a bitch." He tells him. That's another good one because Eric Bischoff called Ric Flair on the phone and told him, disband the Horsemen. You'll never see him on TV again. And they actually got him to reunite everybody. They had Dean Malenko. It was the new Horsemen, Malenko, Benoit,
Yeah, oh yeah, and
Mongo.
Yeah, I think that would have worked better if they had a different fourth instead of Mongo, like Brian Pillman, which I go back another favorite for me before we wrap things up was the beginning of the loose cannon Brian Pillman.
Yeah.
WCW, when he was like going around and when Bobby Heenan when he grabbed Bobby Heenan by the neck when he was running around the announce table. I don't know if you guys ever go back and watch it. Go on YouTube and watch it. There's a spot where like Brian Pillman's running from somebody or away or towards somebody, and he runs around the announce table and he grabs and shakes Bobby Heenan. And Heenan had like a serious neck or back issue, or just had surgery, and he just blurts out on Nitro, "What the fuck?" It's just one of those moments where it's like, okay, this guy literally is crazy because he just made Bobby Heenan drop an F-bomb on cable television. So it was like, for me, like, I think my favorite character, which will lead us into our history mark vote up in a second. I think my favorite character that I wish could have stayed in WCW was Pillman, because could you imagine like the loose cannon in the NWO or fighting the NWO or just
Fighting the NWO would have been great.
Being like the Dean Ambrose, being like Dean Ambrose, just coming in and just busting shit up.
Never thought of that. He is a lot like Ambrose.
That would have been damn. He could have just been ruining stuff, for everybody. That could have been his angle. Just go in and ruin it. Like
his ECW stuff is good too.
Yeah, like you take that Brian Pillman, ECW Brian Pillman, and keep him in WCW, dude could have been gigantic.
He stabs the guy in the ring.
Yeah, and he was threatening, with the pen or something.
And he's threatening to whip out his Johnson and piss in the ring because he's in Philadelphia, home of his constitutional rights.
Yeah, that was. Oh man, I'm eking up on that era of my quest to watch ECW, which I'm going to school tomorrow because my daughter's sick, so I'm banging into my classes. I'm watching ECW all day. I'm gonna give her NyQuil, triple doses. No, I'm joking. No CPA visits, no Child Protective Services. Out here, just joking. Maybe just 2 doses, the hardcore doses. But Bobby on Twitter brought up a good point. If WCW had TNA Sting, they would have made it like that persona of Sting that they had in TNA in WCW. I think
Main Event Mafia was good.
Yeah, I think, or even like the Joker Sting.
Yeah, it was unique.
Could you imagine the Joker Sting with the loose cannon going? Just a couple cycles. That would have been awesome. But that's why I like the history mark. We went over on our time. Military 90-minute hour. Damn, I got lost track of time. See what happens with wrestling and guys? We talk a lot. But this leads up to the history mark of the week. We're gonna go with. We already went with wrestlers, historical wrestlers. So we had, Eddie Guerrero. We had, we voted on Guerrero, Austin, and Funk. Then we had our federations: AWA, mid '90s, late '90s, WCW, and WCCW. What do you guys want to do? Do you want to go with best character, or character, or do you want to go with an event like best WrestleMania, or do you want to save that for close to WrestleMania? Like
Oh, we should definitely save that.
WrestleMania.
Yeah, we should definitely save
Alright.
that. We should do. I don't know. What are you thinking?
well, let's go with.
Or we could
I
type
got it. How about best faction?
faction.
Oh, well, that always goes over well.
Yeah.
I have a Four Horsemen photo in the living room of the home we live in. Trust me, that goes over real well with me.
So yeah, so we're gonna wrap things up here by saying best faction. What do you guys got?
Are we sticking inside the WWE reigns, or were we?
I say let's just go for let's go for anything right now. We could go later on, weeks from now, months from now. We could go into best faction in a federation. But let's go best faction, anytime, any place, anywhere.
How about I'm going to go outside of the box for this one, and we'll do the network with Cyrus the Virus, Rhino. Who else did they? Steve Carino.
Yep.
And they had what was it? I forgot his flunky that he had in the wheelchair. Justice.
What was it? I think I had to.
His last name Justice.
I have to look into that. Okay, so we got ECW's network, which was a good one. Mike, what do you got?
Let's do Nation Domination.
Which nation? Are we talking Rock Nation or Farouk Nation? Or just nation overall?
I don't think you're. Repeat that.
Are we going with the initial inception, Farouk's Nation or Rock's Nation, or do you want to just
We could do Farouk's.
Farouk's? I like that. With
Ahmed Johnson.
Crush, Ahmed Johnson, Savio Vega.
And the Godfather before he was Godfather. He was Kama.
Yeah, and then the lawyer. They had the lawyer, Clarence. It was like Clarence something, Clarence Thompson or Thomas or something like that.
Yeah, he had the glasses. He was a little short guy.
Man, there's a lot of guys in the nation. Okay, I'm gonna go.
And they had the rappers that came out and rapped the theme song.
PG-13.
Crush.
Yeah, he said Crush.
Oh, they?
PG-13. They was it was, I can't remember the names. I hope it's the Nation now. But we got the Nation, we got the network, and I'm gonna go with an N as well. I'm gonna go with. Let's see here. The New Breed. How about that?
The New Breed. That's an interesting one.
I just wanted to stick with N's. It's all about the. So we're gonna go with the new. No, I'll take that back. There's somebody who. You know what? Since we got Cool with the network, we got pretty badass with the Nation. I'm gonna go with. Let's go with Cheesy. Let's go with the Dungeon of Doom.
Dungeon of Doom with Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah, let's go with the Dungeon of Doom. Between those three, the network, the Nation, and the Dungeon of Doom, I like that. I personally hope the Nation wins.
I mean, I could talk about the Nation for days. We forgot D'Lo Brown.
You're looking at the real deal now. With this damn studded catcher's vest. Why are you gonna give somebody a flash with that? God, the European seesaw with him and Val Venus. Good stuff, my friend.
Oh, absolutely.
But we should start keeping a. Bobby goes NWO. You know, we got to have the listener vote as well. So we'll have the NWO in there as well. So we'll go with the network, the nation, the NWO, and the Dungeon of Doom. And we'll put that to a vote. And what we'll do is we'll keep a tally. I'm going to start keeping a tally, a big ass wrestling board here, and see whose idea gets picked. And then
Cool.
we'll come up with a trophy. I think I could get like a bowling trophy or something like that, which is sprayed.
That's cool.
So all right, guys, I am silent. Hold on. I wanted to do this for the whole show. I'm only going to do it for now because I can't see screen to talk.
Hey!
No, thank you for those of you watching. I got a freaking I can't see, and I don't know how these goddamn Mexican wrestlers could do this stuff. I'm not loco. I can't fucking see. So I got my lucha mask on. But this right here, updated version for WrestleMania. It will be making its showcase. And you know, like every wrestler brings out, you know, the fancy outfit. Yeah, El Caco is going to be looking fancy, my friends, on WrestleMania. So
El Caco, I'm excited.
yeah, it means the dick in Spanish, if you didn't know that.
El Caco better be careful because the tag team, we always 3D newcomers when they walk in the door.
Nice. Well, I would rely on Tammy's baby boy, Brandon, but
He's like Lesnar, only shows when he wants.
I was just going to say, no shows like Lesnar. He's like Lesnar without the talent.
Waiting for Brock Lesnar's book, Why I Don't Work Mondays.
Nice. I like that. Narrated by Paul Lee. If Brock ever comes out with a book, you already know who the ghostwriter is.
Yeah, right.
So with that being said, we are so much closer to WrestleMania. I'm looking forward to that, and we're going to have the cameras rolling. We are going to do the in-shot quick results of what we thought about WrestleMania matches while it's happening. I'm going to be uploading it to YouTube instantly, so people could see our responses collectively about WrestleMania when it gets there. But next week we're going to have more for you. If I could get a outro promo from the tag team extraordinaire over there.
Well, you already knew that one was coming. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, seeing that we talked about the NWO today, just remember when you're MPW for life. And this here is not just incredible. This is not perfect, but this is the symbol of greatness, the professor of professional wrestling, Adam McFarland, and the one and only
Mr. Dedicated.
We'll see you next week. Silent J, thanks for having us again.
Oh, and somebody goes, Colado J. Colado, I guess silent in Spanish. Awesome. Colado J. We could do, you know what, we gotta come up with t-shirts for the show. And
absolutely,
we got to have our personas on the t-shirts. And unfortunately, there's no room for Brandon on the t-shirt because you can't be invisible on a shirt, my friends.
He could be a no-show t-shirt.
Yeah.
Nice. You know what? He's just keeping up with his stock for the NFL draft. He's not going to be there. So there's my heel
He's
promo.
busy looking at the fat head sitting on his wall of himself.
Hey, he's the only guy I know that arcs one out to himself at night. But on behalf of MPW, Military Press Wrestling, I am Silent J, and next week we're going to have so much more in store for you. We're going to talk a little bit of factions. We're going to talk Raw, some SmackDown maybe. Who the fuck watches that?
We prefer not.
Yeah, You know, that's why Brandon didn't show up. I told him he had to come and do a SmackDown report, and he's still
I
trying to
hate
figure out,
Dave ran out on you.
he's still trying to figure out where to watch it. But yeah, we're gonna talk WrestleMania. We're gonna talk Raw, wrestling, just however it branches off, and factions. On behalf of everybody here at MPW Military Pro Wrestling, which we're gonna have our write-ups on the website at vetsamedia.com. We're also hopefully going to have our logo ready by this weekend, and I think you boys are going to be impressed because that's when we get T-shirts made, my friends. So
I'm excited.
oh, I'm excited. I'm going to bed with just that T-shirt facing in. I'm going to wear it inside out, so it's just snuggling right up on me. So, on behalf of everybody here at MPW Military Press Wrestling, I am Silent J, and we will see you guys and girls. We actually won't see you. You will see us, and you will hear us next week, my friends. But until then, we are pretty much out of here, and I am now stalling until I can find my damn music. Here it is. Whatever.